Looking for an easy ribs recipe with homemade barbecue sauce and mop sauce? This is it. First step here, pat dry. Make sure there's no moisture on the ribs. Use as many paper towels as needed and ensure that you get all the edges and do both sides. Next step is to remove the membrane. This is often overlooked and it does not break down during the cooking process. It can be a bit tricky if you've never done this before, but just be patient, and sometimes it comes off in one strip or in multiple strips. The membrane does not break down during the cooking process. Removing the membrane results in that tender, fall off the bone, juicy barbecue ribs that everyone loves. After removing the membrane, make sure to pat dry any extra moisture from the edges and, of course, both sides of your rack here. Take your dry rub and evenly spread it across every individual rib. I like to focus on one side at a time and, of course, both of those edges. Make sure to pat it down and rub it all in. I usually just use one hand, ensuring that I'm not cross-contaminating, so that way I can use some of that dry seasoning later on. Flip over your rack and make sure you do the other side the same exact way. Spread it evenly and rub it in, patting it in. Do the sides, do the top, do the edges, and try not to cross-contaminate. You see I'm just using one hand here to drop the seasoning over the ribs, and I use my dirty hand just to kind of rub it in. I like to wrap my ribs using some butcher paper on the inside layer of the ribs, and then on the outside layer I'll use a bit of aluminum foil. And the final result, you want this to be bone side up. Add the ribs to a preheated oven. I cook mine at about 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 3.5 hours or so. The mop sauce is very easy to make. You start with some apple cider vinegar, add a little bit of water, and then olive oil. I also like to add a little bit of my dry rib seasoning in there too to kind of salt it up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and use this again later on in the video to ensure our ribs are nice and moist throughout the cooking process. After the ribs have cooked for a couple of hours, take them out, carefully unwrap them, don't burn yourself here, and then add some mop sauce all over the top. I also added a few pinches of my leftover dry rub seasoning. Wrap them back up and then add them to the oven for about an hour. Making your own barbecue sauce is easier than you think. Start with a little bit of ketchup here, about 1.5 cups. We like to use some organic ketchup that's free of any high fructose corn syrup. Next up is about 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Just kind of depends on how sweet you like it. And then for the liquid, you can use 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar or 1/2 cup of your mop sauce that you made earlier, Worcestershire, some minced garlic, From there, use about a teaspoon of paprika, and then the same for garlic powder. You can also add some salt and pepper if you'd like. Some like to use mustard or Dijon mustard. You can even throw in a little bit of your dry rub or salt and pepper. Make sure the ingredients are mixed up pretty evenly here. And the trick is just to let it simmer on low for about 20 minutes. The sauce is going to thicken up. Remove the ribs from the oven for a second time. Go ahead and unwrap them, being careful not to burn yourself from the steam or, of course, that hot pan. Flip your rack over so it's bone side down, and then we're going to spread that homemade barbecue sauce all across the top. Keep it unwrapped and then add it back to your oven with the broiler on. This is going to caramelize the sauce at the top. Add your homemade barbecue sauce to a mason jar or whichever container you prefer. It should last about 2 weeks in your refrigerator, maybe even longer. These tender barbecue ribs are super easy to make. You don't even need a barbecue. And I really think the star of the show here was that barbecue sauce. Serve while hot and enjoy with your favorite sides. Let us know what we should make sense and subscribe for more weekly videos. Thanks for watching and light your oven.